Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, opening your email, and discovering that your job has been automated, not because you made a mistake, not because the company is struggling, not because business is bad, but because software can now do most of your work faster, cheaper, and 24 hours a day. Sounds dramatic, maybe, but for some workers around the world, it's already happening.
And that's exactly why today's conversation matters. Because whether we like it or not, technology is changing the workplace. Artificial intelligence is improving. Automation is expanding. And companies are constantly looking for ways to increase efficiency. The question isn't whether jobs will change. The question is which jobs are most vulnerable.
Now, before anyone panics, let's make something very clear. This is not a doom and gloom episode. We're not saying people are doomed. We're not saying millions of jobs disappear overnight. And we're definitely not saying humans become obsolete.
Exactly, because history tells us something interesting. Every major technological revolution has eliminated some jobs, but it has also created entirely new opportunities.
The challenge is recognizing those changes early enough to prepare for them. Because the people who adapt first usually have the biggest advantage.
And honestly, that's what Future Signals is all about, spotting changes before they become obvious.
Speaking of that, before we begin, we asked viewers in our last episode which skill they believed would be most valuable by 2035, and some of the answers were fascinating.
Cybersecurity showed up a lot. AI skills showed up a lot. Communication appeared surprisingly often too.
And a few people basically said, none of these matter if you don't know how to learn, which honestly was a pretty strong argument.
Very strong. Now today we're looking at the other side of the equation, the jobs that may become increasingly vulnerable over the next decade. And if you disagree with anything on this list, tell us in the comments, because some of these are definitely going to start debates.
Good, the best conversations usually do.
Let's begin. Number 10, data entry clerk. Now, Maya, I feel like data entry has been appearing on these kinds of lists for years. Why is it still here?
Because it's one of the clearest examples of a task that computers naturally excel at. Think about what data entry involves. Moving information from one place to another, organizing records, updating databases, processing forms. These are structured, repetitive activities, exactly the kind of work automation handles well.
And honestly, most people don't even realize how much of this is already automated.
That's true. I filled out forms online that seemed almost magical. Half the information was already completed.
Exactly. Software can now extract information from documents, read invoices, process applications, and update records with minimal human involvement.
But here's the thing, people hear this and immediately think, so everyone in data entry loses their job. I don't think it's that simple.
Neither do I.
It isn't. What's more likely is that one person manages systems that previously required several people. The role changes. The responsibilities change. But the need for oversight often remains.
So maybe the lesson isn't avoid technology. Maybe the lesson is learn how to work with it.
That's a great point. Because technology usually rewards people who understand it, not people who ignore it.
Exactly. And that's something we'll probably repeat several times today.
Number 9, basic customer support, and I have a feeling this one is going to be controversial.
Very controversial because everyone has dealt with terrible chatbots.
Exactly, half the time they can't even answer the question you're asking.
That's true today, but that's not necessarily true tomorrow. AI systems are improving rapidly. Some can already handle thousands of customer interactions simultaneously. They never get tired, they never need breaks, and they're getting better at understanding human language every year.
Let's imagine something. It's 2035. You have a problem with your internet service. You open a support chat. What happens?
The AI already knows your account. It already knows your device. It already knows your service history. It may identify the problem before you finish typing.
And honestly, that's both impressive and slightly terrifying.
A little bit.
The important thing is that routine support requests become easier to automate. Complex situations will still require humans. But basic support roles could become much smaller.
Which raises an interesting question. Do people actually prefer talking to humans, or do they just prefer getting answers quickly?
Would you rather speak to a human, or an AI that solves the issue instantly? I'm genuinely curious. Because the answer to that question could shape entire industries.
because the answer to that question could shape entire industries.
Number 8, telemarketing. Now I know some people are already smiling.
Probably because they never answer those calls anyway.
Fair enough, but seriously, telemarketing has existed for decades. Why does it face so much pressure now?
Because automation is becoming extremely good at outreach. AI systems can analyze customer behavior, personalize messages, identify likely buyers, and communicate at scale.
Which means companies can reach more people, with fewer human callers.
And let's be honest, most people don't enjoy receiving cold calls.
That's probably the understatement of the year.
The bigger issue is efficiency. Businesses constantly evaluate costs, and if software can perform large portions of outreach activities, many traditional telemarketing roles become vulnerable.
We've only covered 3 jobs so far, but things are about to get much more interesting, because the next job on our list is one that many people still consider safe, and yet some experts believe it could change dramatically before 2035. Stay with us. If you think the first 3 jobs were obvious, wait until you hear the next one, because it's a profession many people still consider secure, and that assumption may not hold for much longer.
Future signals, we they see tomorrow's signals. Opportunities to follow, learn, adapt, keep moving, let's go. Future signals, watch the future grow.
Welcome back. We've already discussed data entry clerks, customer support, and telemarketing. And now we're entering the part of the list where things become a little more uncomfortable, because the next job is one that many people still consider relatively secure. Number 7, bookkeeping assistants. Now before accountants start attacking us in the comments, let's clarify something. We're not talking about all accounting jobs, right, Maya?
Exactly. This is an important distinction. Accounting and bookkeeping are not the same thing. Many bookkeeping tasks involve recording transactions, categorizing expenses, reconciling accounts, generating reports. These are highly structured activities, and structured activities are becoming easier to automate.
But here's where I think people get confused. Just because software can perform a task doesn't mean people disappear.
Interesting. Explain that.
Well, think about calculators. They didn't eliminate mathematics. Spreadsheets didn't eliminate finance professionals. Technology often removes repetitive work, but that can actually make skilled workers more productive.
I agree. The biggest risk is usually to routine tasks, not necessarily entire professions. The future accountant may spend less time entering data and more time analyzing it.
So once again, we're seeing the same pattern. The job doesn't always vanish, it evolves.
Exactly. And the people who adapt to those changes often do very well.
While the people who assume nothing will change usually struggle.
That might be one of the biggest lessons of this entire episode. Number 6, travel agents. Now this one surprises me, because every time I think travel agents are disappearing, I meet someone who still uses one.
Same, especially for luxury travel or complicated international trips.
And that's why this category is interesting. Basic travel planning is becoming incredibly easy. A person can book flights, hotels, transportation, activities, and compare prices globally in minutes.
Something that would have taken hours 20 years ago.
Exactly. And AI is making that process even easier. Imagine telling an AI, I have $3,000. I want a 7-day vacation, warm weather, direct flights, and good food. The system could instantly build an entire itinerary.
Honestly, I would probably use that.
I think most people would.
But here's the counter-argument. When people spend a lot of money, they often want reassurance, they want expertise, they want a real person.
That's true, which is why specialized travel advisors may continue thriving, but routine travel planning could become increasingly automated.
Question for everyone watching. Would you trust AI to plan your entire vacation, or would you still want a human involved? Let us know in the comments. I'm genuinely curious.
Especially if something goes wrong. That's when opinions usually change.
Good point. Now let's move to number 5, cashiers, and honestly, I think most people saw this coming.
Probably. We're already seeing self-checkout systems around the world, mobile payments, automated retail stores, and cashier-less shopping experiments.
I remember the first time I walked into a store and didn't see a checkout counter. It felt strange.
It still feels strange.
But consumer behavior changes surprisingly fast. Once people experience convenience, they often don't want to go back.
Unless the machine stops working.
It still feels strange.
True. But the long-term trend is clear. Retail is becoming increasingly automated.
What's interesting is that younger generations seem completely comfortable with it.
That's actually true. For some people, scanning items themselves feels normal.
And as technology improves, those systems become more reliable.
We've reached the halfway point, and from here, the jobs become even more surprising because the next profession involves creativity, a field many people believed was protected from automation, but recent developments suggest otherwise. Stay with us. Most people assumed creativity was untouchable, that machines could never compete with human imagination. But what if that assumption is wrong? Because the next 4 jobs on our list may challenge everything people think they know about the future of work.
Future signals, see the trend before it blow.
Read the data, find the moves they never show. Think ahead, stay adaptive, that's the code.
Future signals, future leaders, future mode.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we're discussing the jobs that could become increasingly vulnerable before 2035. And honestly, the final 4 jobs on this list might be the most surprising, because they involve fields many people once believed were safe from automation. Let's continue. Number 4, basic graphic production. Now, before designers flood the comments section, let's be very clear. We're not saying design is disappearing.
Not even close. What we're talking about are repetitive design tasks, simple advertisements, basic social media graphics, standard marketing materials, template-based content, the kind of work that increasingly can be generated in seconds.
And let's be honest, a lot of people have already seen this happen. 5 years ago, creating certain graphics required specialized skills. Today, some of those same tasks can be completed by AI tools in minutes.
Which raises an interesting question. If software can create a decent design instantly, what happens to people who only offer basic design services?
That's where the challenge begins. Because when technology makes simple work easier, the market often shifts toward higher value work. Creativity, strategy, brand development, storytelling, those become more important.
You know what's funny? People keep saying AI is replacing creativity, but sometimes it feels like AI is increasing the value of truly creative people.
That's a fascinating point, because if everyone can generate average content, then exceptional content becomes even more valuable.
Exactly. Average becomes automated. Originality becomes premium.
I think that's one of the most important ideas we've discussed today. Number 3, basic content writing, and this one is probably going to make some people uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable, because AI can already write surprisingly well.
It really can. Articles, emails, reports, marketing copy, social media posts, the list keeps growing.
And the technology is improving rapidly. But there's an important distinction. Basic content is becoming easier to automate. High-quality content is much harder.
Exactly. People don't just consume information, they consume perspective, experience, insight, personality.
That's why some creators are growing faster than ever.
Right, because audiences connect with people, not just information.
Think about your favorite creator. Most likely you're not following them because they have facts. You're following them because of how they present those facts.
That's actually true. The internet has unlimited information, but attention is limited.
And earning attention requires more than simply producing words.
Which means writers who adapt could become even more valuable, while writers who only perform routine tasks may face increasing competition from AI.
Again, we're seeing the same pattern. Adaptation matters.
A lot. Now we're entering the top 2. And honestly, these are the jobs that sparked the biggest debate when we were preparing this episode. Number 2, routine legal assistant work. Now, before anyone panics, we're not saying lawyers disappear.
Not at all. The legal profession involves judgment, negotiation, strategy, human relationships. Those things remain incredibly important.
But legal work also involves massive amounts of documentation, research, contract review, administrative tasks, and that's where technology is making progress.
How significant is that progress?
Potentially very significant. Some AI systems can already review large collections of documents far faster than humans. They can identify patterns, highlight risks, and assist with legal research.
Which means tasks that once required large teams may require fewer people.
Again, the profession evolves.
Exactly. The professionals who learn how to use these tools effectively may become dramatically more productive.
There's a theme developing here.
I think everyone watching sees it.
Technology isn't necessarily replacing experts. It's changing what expertise looks like.
That's a perfect way to describe it.
And now, we've reached number 1, the job that many experts believe could experience some of the biggest changes over the next decade. Administrative assistants focused primarily on routine tasks.
This one surprised me.
Really?
A little, because administrative assistants do so many different things. Scheduling, communication, organization, coordination, problem solving.
And that's exactly why this is complicated. Some tasks are becoming highly automated. Scheduling meetings, managing calendars, sorting emails, generating reports, taking notes, organizing information. AI systems are becoming increasingly capable in these areas.
In some cases, better than humans.
For repetitive administrative tasks, potentially yes, especially when speed and consistency matter.
But here's where I think people make mistakes. They assume every administrative role is identical.
And they're not.
Not even close. The best assistants provide judgment, relationship management, problem solving, decision support. Those skills are much harder to automate.
Which means the role doesn't necessarily disappear. It becomes more strategic.
That's been the recurring theme of today's entire discussion. Jobs don't always vanish, they evolve.
And the people who evolve with them usually do best.
Exactly. Now before we finish, let's do something new. Future signals prediction. My prediction: before 2030, most professionals will interact with AI every single workday. The same way we use email today, people won't think of it as special, it'll just be normal.
My prediction is that adaptability will become more valuable than experience in many industries, because change is accelerating. The people who learn fastest may outperform people who simply have the most years on the job.
And my prediction: some jobs people are convinced will disappear, will still exist in 2035, just in a completely different form. History has a funny way of surprising us.
I like that prediction. Now let's recap today's list. Number 10, data entry clerk. Number 9, basic customer support. Number 8, telemarketing. Number 7, bookkeeping assistants. Number 6, travel agents. Number 5, cashiers. Number 4, basic graphic production. Number 3, basic content writing. Number 2, routine legal assistant work. And number 1, administrative assistants focused primarily on routine tasks.
And remember, this isn't a list of jobs that are guaranteed to disappear. It's a conversation about trends, signals, possibilities. The future is rarely predictable, but preparation is always valuable.
The goal isn't fear, the goal is awareness, because people who understand change are usually better prepared for it.
Now we want to hear from you. Which job on today's list surprised you the most? And which job do you think is actually safer than people realize? Tell us in the comments. We read them. And some of your ideas may inspire future episodes.
And if you enjoyed today's discussion, share it with someone who's thinking about their future career.
Because these conversations are becoming more important every year.
If you want more discussions about future careers, emerging technologies, business trends, AI, and opportunities that could shape the next decade, subscribe to Future Signals. Every week, we explore the signals shaping tomorrow's world so you can stay informed, prepared, and ahead of the curve.
Thanks for spending your time with us.
And remember, the future doesn't arrive all at once. It arrives one signal at a time.
We'll see you in the next episode. Take care. Rock it.
Future signals, we they see tomorrow signals. Opportunities to follow, learn, adapt, keep moving, let's go. Future signals, watch the future grow.